When we talk about Virginia and the colonization of Virginia, understand that Jamestown was first a charter colony. The Virginia Company, it's a business, all right, and they guaranteed colonists the same rights as Englishmen as if they had stayed in England. And so, as you see here, the flyer was passed around in London and offered people an opportunity to come to North America or the New World in search of golds and other economic opportunities. In return, they had to pay a share or a stock. They had to buy stock into this company. All right. This provision obviously was incorporated. The fear was that if the colonists left the mother country, that they wouldn't have the same rights. Right. And so this is important to understand because this is going to come back again when we talk about the American Revolution. That the colonists from the get-go left their country with the understanding that they were still Englishmen, even though they didn't live in England. The colonists felt that even in the Americas, they had the rights. All right. So when we talk about Jamestown, the Virginia Company sent out about 3 ships in 1606. By the spring of 1607, they landed in Chesapeake Bay. All right. They're going to be attacked by Indians early on. Really, they're going to kind of spook the Indians, which is going to respond in an outbreak of violence. And so then, therefore, they're going to move a little bit further more inland, somewhere where they can be protected. All right. So May 24th, about 100 colonists, all of them men now, are going to land in Jamestown along the James River. All right. And again, the whole purpose was that it's easily defendable. They can see the attacks on all sides. But what they don't realize is that it's swarming with disease-causing mosquitoes. All right. And obviously, if you remember the ships, you had the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. Okay. So their first settlement, again, was at the mouth of the Chesapeake. And this is right around here, and this is where they were early attacked. Then they sailed further inland to avoid attacks. Now, this is an important question: geographic and environmental problems. We'll get to this because geography is obviously going to play a major role in what type of colony Chesapeake's going to turn into be. All right, here's an early map of what the Jamestown fort looks like. We have the 3 sides here. They thought it was easily defendable, and in the middle you have the church. All right. Now, Jamestown is a disaster of a colony in the beginning. For the first year or so, 40 people are just going to die on the way to the New World. All right. By 1609, another ship from England is going to lose its leader and its supplies, and probably get stuck in the Bermuda Triangle. But it does shipwreck off of Bermuda. All right. Settlers are going to die by the dozens. Now think about why. They're there as part of an economic business. All right. All right. Most of the people who came over, you had your workers who came over as part of the shipmates and were more the labor, and then you have the gentlemen, the elite rich, who wanted to oversee and make sure that they can reap the benefits of their investments. So you have the gentleman colonists, and these people didn't know how to work, and so it's going to cause a nightmare early on for Jamestown. Okay. Settlers are going to waste, like I said, most of their time hunting for gold, looking for gold instead of hunting and farming and creating a colony. Right? And then obviously this gentleman, Captain John Smith, he comes along. He's kind of a hired hand. The Virginia Company hires him to lead one of the ships. He does come with a decorated past for being kind of a roughneck captain. He's fought pirates. He's fought in the Philippines. He's an adventurer of sorts. All right, and when he comes along and he sees what a horrible job is being done by the gentleman colonists, he decides to take charge. And this is a very famous quote that he wrote in his book. There was no talk but dig gold, wash gold, refine gold, and load gold. So what he decided to do, all right, is try to go to the local Powhatan Indians for help. And this is where he meets Pocahontas. Now, tomorrow in class, we're going to look a little bit at this Pocahontas myth about Pocahontas saves Captain John Smith. That's not necessarily Disney World, reality, okay? And we'll talk about why. All right. Now, here's a picture of Pocahontas in 1616. Yeah, she looks a little manly, but she is the first native princess to arrive in Europe. Now, from about 1610 to 1660, we're talking about a large period of time here. We're going to have about 189,000 total English are going to arrive in the New World. As I mentioned yesterday, a lot more people are going to go to the West Indies because obviously that's where gold was located first. All right, and so the Bahamas and the other British islands are going to be used to search for pearls and golds and silvers, things like that. About 50,000 are going to head into Chesapeake. 4,000 will go to Bermuda, which becomes a major sugar plantation, which would then help make wine and other refined goods, and then eventually New England. Now, when we talk about Jamestown, we need to understand the geography, like I mentioned earlier, about how that affects the development of the Virginia colony or Chesapeake colony. All right. What's going to happen is there's going to be, because they settle on the river, they're going to result in a large number of plantations that are much greater than 100 acres. All right. And these plantations are going to be spread widely apart, greater than 5 miles. All right. And then what happens then is you don't have big cities, all right? When we talk about these social and economic problems, you don't have the development of cities. Now you have these small little towns or boroughs are going to be created because the development of Virginia is going to be based on plantation. It's going to create the plantation economy, and it all starts from the early settlement. All right, so you see here with all these little boxes here, these are the plantations, and so everything's kind of spread out. Again, you don't have the development of cities. Now, in the early years, they're going to experience a high mortality rate, all right, and it's called the starving time. It kind of goes along with the Jamestown nightmare in the first year. The starving time really is going to consist of the first 3 to 5 years, and you see here just in 1 year it goes from 104 to 38. All right, that's a big difference. Then 300 more people come. Well, within a year, only 60 of those people are alive. All right, so in about a 14-year period, there's going to be 10,000 immigrants, but only 1,200 of them are going to live. All right, and again, there's a couple reasons for it. We got to think about it. One, they haven't established a farming tradition. All right. 2, the natives are a constant threat and a problem. All right. 3, the mosquitoes are going to cause such a problem for the colonists that they're going to pretty much die off. Once they're bitten by one, they're going to get sick. Their immune systems can't handle it. All right, and so you see here the life adult expectancy is only 40 years old. All right, and then the death of children before 5 is about 80%. Again, the immune system is pretty weak. All right, now one of the things that results from this high mortality rate is what we call widowarchy. All right, the high mortality among husbands and fathers left many women with unusual autonomy and wealth. Now again, this is a patriarchal society where men dominate, and it was very difficult for the early Chesapeake colonies to have all these women have so much wealth and power because of their dead husbands. All right, so that's going to have an effect on the social network and systems.